Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Generative.
So guys, now we're going to start our next module, that is structured output in LangChain. Guys, I would like to give you one information that from this module to onwards, all the modules 90 to 95% will be covered by practical. Okay, only 5% theory is there to just understand what is the definition of it and what is the logic behind it. So nothing much in theory. Most of it will be covered in practical. So I hope you will not get bored. So you will enjoy the video. So let's get started. So what is structured output? So definition of it, for many applications such as chatbots, models need to respond to user directly in natural language. Okay. However, there are scenarios where we need models to output in a structured format. For example, we might want to store the model output in a database and ensure that the output conforms to the database schema. So this is the basic simple definition of structured output. So now let me clarify you with the proper example. Okay. So guys, now suppose you have a LLM model, just like ChatGPT. Okay. Now, whenever you give any kind of input, that is text, that is natural language. Okay. So automatically it gives an output as text as well, right? That is natural language, right? So this text is basically unstructured format. Okay. So whenever you are asking any question to the LLM, automatically it gives the output as a text. So this text is called unstructured format. It's a unstructured format. But suppose we need one application where we need to store our data as output data in our database. Then we cannot store our text data in our database, right? So in that case, we need to store our data in a structured format, right? So for that, we need to use our structured output format. So for example, one example is that is data extraction. Okay, suppose what is this? Suppose you have a e-commerce website. Okay, you have a e-commerce website. Now from this this website, lots of customer comes into the website and purchase some products, and automatically they give some reviews in your website. Suppose there are lots of people, review 1, review 2. I'll just give you an example, review 3, like this, and there are so many things, so many reviews. Now it is not possible for you to read all the review every day, right? Or to understand the opinion of the customer by reading all the reviews. So in that case, what you will want? You need to store your data in somewhere. These are text, these are completely text. So you cannot store these reviews in any database. So you need some information, like that is key information, right? So you want key information from these reviews so that you can store that data in your database, and you can read from there. Suppose in review you can get the key information like sentiment of the customer, pros, cons, maybe customer name, if you want, date, whatever you want. So you want data in this way so that you can store it in a database, right? So in that case, you have to use our structured output concept. Suppose you have you build an app. Okay, you build an app. Now you are passing all your reviews through this app, and this app is producing a structured output that is like JSON format. Suppose like this. This is suppose name, suppose the pros, like this. Okay, in this way, in a JSON format. Once you get this output, you can store it directly to the database. Leave the main concept of structured output. There is another example that I can give you, that is, see, there are multiple example of that, but I give you one more example, that is, just a minute. This is agent. Okay, in agent, I told you in earlier video, agent always use an tool behind this operation, right? So suppose in ChatGPT, in ChatGPT, this is ChatGPT. Okay, now you ask a question like sum of 2 and 2. You ask this question in your normal natural language. Now what is happening behind the LLM ChatGPT? There is an agent over here. Okay, and there is a tool. There is a tool. Suppose this is a calculator tool. Calculator. Okay. Now what is happening when you are asking this question to ChatGPT? ChatGPT send it to agent, and agent is sending this question to LLM. This tool. Basically, ChatGPT is fetching this numeric data, only numeric data, and it is sending to agent, and agent sending this numeric data to tool, and tool, this calculator is summing this 2 plus 2 and giving the output as 4. This is the logic. This is the logic that is working behind the ChatGPT. Okay. So this is a structured output, right? So this is a structured output. Now you might be thinking why ChatGPT is able to give a structured output, this structured output, right? So I tell you why. So why ChatGPT can give the proper structured output? Because there are 2 different type of LLMs there. One is one can like ChatGPT. This can generate structured output. Okay, and there is so many open source models there in Hugging Face. So this type of open source LLM cannot generate structured output. Okay, so if you want to use this type of LLM in our application, and to get the structured output, we need to use this simple function, that is with structured output. That's it, nothing much. Okay, and if you want to use this type of LLM model in our application, so to get this structured output, we have to use output parser. There is a separate concept, that is output parser. Okay, for using this LLM, we have to use this function, and for using this type of LLM, we have to use output parser. Okay. So what is basically happening with output structure? That is, normally we are invoking LLM.invoke. Whenever we want to invoke our any prompt, then we use LLM.invoke. But instead of doing this, we have to use LLM dot with structured output dot invoke. That's it. There is only this difference is there. Okay, but one thing you need to remember, to get this structured output, structured output with LLM, you have to always define. You have to always just do it. You have to always define schema. Okay, schema. So what is happening? I tell you. Suppose this is my LLM. This is my LLM. These are input, and that is output. Output is like this, name, structured output. Okay, name, class, whatever it is. So what is happening behind it? So basically what is happening, we have to always mention output schema over into LLM, so that LLM can give the output in this structured way. Okay, suppose here like this, name should be string. Okay, class might be integer. So in this way you have to define your schema into LLM, then LLM can generate the output in this structured way, okay. So there are multiple schema, just there are multiple way to define this schema. Okay, basically there are three way, that is, one is TypedDict. Okay, second one is most important, that is Pydantic, and third is JSON schema. Okay, so basically what is the feature of it? In TypedDict, you can define data type. Okay, to it cannot validate data. This is very important to remember. Okay, it cannot validate data. Third is it is quite faster. In case of Pydantic, what is happening? It is very much important in case of data validation at runtime. Okay, it is mostly industry grade, because in industry most of the time we need to use Pydantic model. Okay, third is, if we need to define our default value of any any input, then we can define default value. Four is, we can define description. So if we want to do all these things, then we have to do Pydantic. Okay, and third one is JSON. So JSON is normally we use in JSON schema for JSON API. In case of JSON API, when we need to use JSON API, then we use JSON schema, this format. Okay, basically this is very hard to define data types. Okay, so that is why most of the time we use Pydantic model, because here we can define our data type, we can validate our data. That is very much important. We can define the default value, define description, everything we can do over here. So, and also it is very easy to use. So that is why we need to use this Pydantic model. Okay, so this is the basic information about structured output and schema, why we use structured output, why we need to use schema, all these things. Now let's jump to the practical part, and we see one by one all the examples of this. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so guys, we have opened our VS Code. Now let's start our coding. This is our third class, so let's make another file, that is 03 structured output dot ipyng. Okay, so let's select our kernel. Yeah, it's connected. Now let's check it once. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. So first we start with our TypedDict example. Okay. Dict. So for this, we have to import. First, we have to import our LLM. Okay. Is chain underscore OpenAI import chat OpenAI. Import chat OpenAI. Okay. And to import our TypedDict, we have to import it from typing. From typing, import list optional annotated and TypedDict. Okay. And from these are common env or env load env. Okay. So now we are defining our LLM chat OpenAI, and we are using our model corridor 0.6 and 4 mini. Okay. Now see, to use the TypedDict, we have to always mention first our class. Suppose we are making a video class, movie class, and we have to mention our TypedDict. Now see, it is autocomplete. For movie, we can define title as string, ER as integer, okay, director as string, ENR as a list of string, and rating as float. We can do it. Okay. But to understand the metadata, data types, everything, and what is the description of this keys, we can use annotate. Okay. Annotate. We can use annotated, sorry, annotated. And here we have to define like this. See, now we have that annotated, and title should be string, and this is the definition of the title. This is the way we can define our title, so that we can show our metadata, title metadata as string, and what is the title, that is the title of the movie. That's it. And this is the way we can mention director, generating everything. Okay, so let me do it. So guys, I have added all these things. See, I have added one more option, that is box office, annotated optional float. See, you can make it any option as optional to mention this optional function. Okay, so this is the optional, and this is the general as annotated list of strings, because general might be list of string. So that is why we have included it in a list format. Okay. So now we have already mentioned our LLM. Now we have what we need to do. We have to mention structured LLM. Suppose structured LLM as LLM dot with structured output. Now, and we have to mention this class. So once we have mentioned this class, so automatically all the features, all this metadata comes to this structured LLM variables. Okay. So now what we can do, we can define another variable that which is result and structured LLM dot invoke. Okay, that is invoke. Now we can invoke our prompt. Now suppose we can mention give me details of a movie named Inception. Okay, Inception. Now let's bring the result. and let's print the type of the result. Okay. So let's stimulate. There is a issue with annotation. Let's do it. So let's run it and see what is coming out. There is an error. Okay, there's a spelling mistake. Okay, let's try it. Run it again. Okay, see, now we got the information: title, inception, release year 2010, owner as a list of this argument. Okay, action, scientific thriller. It's give a list because we have already mentioned as list. Okay, now rating is float, box office, that is the optional. If this information is not there, then it will show blank, nothing. That as it is optional. Okay, but it is there, so it fetches the data, and the class is dictionary. Now we have used TypedDict, so it will by default it is the class is dictionary, right? Now I show you one thing. Suppose I have commented right now. Suppose we have created a substance of movie. Okay, and want to mention the title. You have to as use dictionary, so to put curly brackets, title, now if we mention inception, now suppose we are creating instance of this movie class and create a variable movie and put a title inception in a string format. Okay, now if we print movie title, okay, movie title, then see, see there is a mistake. See, inception is coming. Okay, but we have mentioned title as string, right? That is string. But suppose if we mentioned any integer value over here, suppose any integer value over here, then see it is also giving the output. This is the main issue with the TypedDict. It can mention the data type, but it cannot validate data at runtime. This is the main issue behind the TypedDict. That is why we need to use Pydantic. Okay, so let's start our Pydantic model use so that we can understand the difference between TypedDict and Pydantic. Okay, so let's start our Pydantic. This should be marked down. This has to be marked down. Okay. So I do one thing, guys. I don't want to make this video unnecessarily longer, so I have written this code in somewhere. So I just bring that code over here. Okay. I give you an walkthrough of the entire code and make you understand. With the same example, giving this Pydantic use. Okay. So see, again we are using our LLM. Now for using Pydantic, we have to import base model and field. Okay, and from typing list optional, that we have already see list and use of list and optional .env, and OS is not required right now. So we have load our .env. Now this is our LLM. Now see, again we have to creating our movie class. Now this time we are calling our base model from Pydantic. Okay, and in this Pydantic model we have to mention our title as string, and we have to use this field option, and we have to put this 3 dot. 3 dot means this is a required field, and we have to put our description. Now name of this movie. So this is the structure. This is the structure of using Pydantic model. Okay. In the same way, we have mentioned our release year, genre, rating, box office. Everything is same, but here the structure is little bit different. Okay. So next we have again we have create our structured lm dot with structured output and calling this class. Then structured output dot invoke the same thing, mean that it is about movie insertion, the same thing, and again we are printing our result. Okay, now see what is happening. Let me comment down for the time being. Yes, now see we got the output title as inception, release year 2010, year not, that is list. Okay, this is a list, rating 8.8, box office, this is the option. Now this is a main movie class, type is movie class. Now see, using result or model dump, it is automatically converted the result as a dictionary form. Okay, to convert this dictionary form, because this is not dictionary. Previously this TypedDict is by default dictionary, but in Pydantic, case of Pydantic, this is not by default dictionary, right? Here, see here, title equal to inception, release date equal to 10. This is not dictionary. So to convert a dictionary, we have to use result dot model dump, this function. Okay, so it automatically converts this result to dictionary form, and at the same time, when we need to convert it in JSON format, this JSON format, we have to use model underscore dump underscore JSON. This is a simple basic function. Okay, and in the same way, if we create any instance of this class, then it will print in the same way. See, this is the output of this print. Title inception is nothing special, the same things. Okay, so this is the basic difference. Now see, if we do one thing, suppose title, see, title is, we have mentioned title as string. Okay, this is string, but suppose we have put it as integer, and now let's run. Okay, let me comment down this output. Okay, now let's run. Now see, it is giving the error. What is saying? One validation error for movie class. Okay, one validation error. Understand? Previously in TypedDict, when we put title as integer, it gives the output. It doesn't throw any error. But in case of Pydantic model, at the runtime, it is validating the data and giving the error, validation error. Okay, so again, if we converted this as string, then it will automatically run. See, now it is okay. So you understand what is the difference between Pydantic and TypedDict. Okay, so now let's understand the JSON part. Okay, JSON schema. Schema. Just a minute. JSON schema. Okay. So okay, let me copy the JSON schema as well. Now see, this is the example of JSON schema. See, I told you na, in case of JSON schema, it is very hard to mention the data type. See, the same thing. This same thing is mentioned over here in a JSON format, and this is the structure. See, it is quite difficult to write, right? Quite difficult to write. That's why we normally we don't use this JSON schema. When we are using JSON API, then only we need to use JSON schema. Okay, so this is the simple way to define our data type, and the same way we are calling our LLM structured output and result. Now see output. See the output. See the result is same. Okay, so these are different type of option to mention our schema. Okay, so these three type we can use, but most of the case we use Pydantic because it is very much industry grade, and it is most important in case of data validation. Okay, so this is the three example of schema defining schema. So I give you another example that I mentioned in my theory part, just like to for in case of review. Okay, so I show you one example for product review. So how does it look? Let's see. The same thing. Okay, we are importing list, optional, Pydantic base model field. Everything is same. Now we are getting a product review, one class that is product review. Now here is product name, that is string, review name, that is string, rating float. Okay, all this mandatory. Table.me is mandatory, and we are putting the description. What about it? Rows list, because there might be multiple list of rows, so that is why we are putting it in list of string. Cons also list of string. Review text string. Would comment, that is bool, yes or no. That is why boolean, which is boolean, and purchase date optional. It is optional. If there in our review date is mentioned, then it will fetch. Otherwise, it will show blank. That's why we make it optional. Okay. Now we are calling our LLM and structured LLM in the same way, and this is our one review. This is a dummy review, guys. I have generated. So this is a dummy review. We are sending to our structured LLM. Okay. Now we are printing our result. We don't need these two. This is also we don't required. Now we are printing our result. Now see what is happening. What is coming out. Now see the output is like this. Product name this. Okay. See rating 4.5. Pros, this is a list. Understand? This is a list. Pros. Sound quality, exceptional battery life. These are pros. Okay. Now we can get cons is also there. Like this is a description. See all the information, whatever we have mentioned over here, all the information is coming out over here. All the information. See at the last, see purchase date. You got the purchase date. Would recommend it true. That is yes. Okay, like this. So from a review, from this big review, this is the intertext, right? So it is not possible to read as a human being, because there are lots of review might be there. So by passing this review to our LLM, we can get a structured output in this way. Okay, in this way. Now we can store this data in our database easily, right? So that is why we need to use our structured output. Okay. So this is a very good example of understanding the structured output. So so these are complete practical of structured output. So guys, if you have any doubt, just go back in this video and try to understand once more. And if still you have any doubt, just comment me down. I will definitely make another video or give you the answer. Okay. And guys, if you liking my videos, please do like, share, and subscribe my channel, because it will really motivate me a lot. And I promise you, I'll bring such amazing videos going forward. So please subscribe my channel. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.